Hey everybody, Karen from Master Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well today. So we are in a three-part series. The first part regarding the e-files. What I'm trying to do is take a step back, and one of the things the Lead Team Collective has encouraged us to do this month. These messages came to us in the spirit circle, but one of the things that they reminded us, they spelled this out in the pendulum. They spelled out widen your scope. Okay. So one of the things I've been trying to do for myself because it's just, all the, it's just been so hard. It's been so hard. And I feel better today because I've taken a break from the details. You gotta take a break from the details, right? So I've been doing this 3-part series. So the first one is we focused yesterday on the survivors because so many people are just talking about the perpetrators and the whatever. Okay. So that was really helpful for me. And the comments looked like it was a really helpful conversation that we had yesterday. So if you're looking for a little relief in terms of like, what can I do now with this anger that I have, or sadness, or whatever you're feeling, this grief that I'm feeling, because now are we not only dealing with the authoritarian stuff, but now we've got this whole layer. And I know you do too. You're all seeing it. Everybody's seeing it. This is all by design. This whole thing has been by design. I can see it now. In fact, let me tell you what we're going to talk about today. So yesterday we talked about the survivors, or how to put your energy towards them. That's what we talked about. Okay. And today we are going to talk about the system that allowed this. Okay. Because I have some thoughts about it. I plopped some thoughts into AI, my Mabel. So I put my own thoughts into this, and she just organized them for me. Okay. So I want to talk about that. And again, the lead team wants us to widen our scope. So these are the kind of conversations I'm having right now. All right. At the end, we are going to do a clearing together. I will put the clearing time in the title. So if you just want to go ahead and do the clearing, you can just bounce right to there. Okay. Yesterday, I thought it'd be 20 minutes and ended up being 60. You just never know. So the clearing today, this is what the clearing will be. So we're going to ask the Lead Team Collective using the dowsing rods. Okay. So please help dismantle harmful power structures that protect abuse and silence truth. Clear fear from institutions, communities, and leadership. Support the rebalancing of divine masculine and divine feminine within our systems. We're going to be talking about that because that's part of the astrology right now. Guide us towards constructive reform that serves the well-being of all. So that will be the clearing that we do. Okay. All right. So I was going to start talking about something else, and now I can't remember. So we'll just get started. Let's see. Oh, one of the things I wanted to share, one of the things that was helpful for me, this is funny how your messages come about, is I was watching short track speed skating, which is like that is my favorite Olympic sport. Winter short track speed skating. It's just so freaking fun. It's amazing. And not only that, but the Olympic Center is near Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is close to where I live. So, and I've been to, I don't know what they call them, but I don't know if last time I was I think I actually did go to the Olympic trials because they have them there, but it was a while back. Anyways, it's fun. What was that guy's name? The one from the US who was just so good? Apollo Ono? Or is that the Ho'oponopono? I think his name was Apollo. Anyways, he was so good. You guys remember him? And he was doing announcing at some point. I wonder what he's doing nowadays. Okay, so one of the things, though, it's so funny, is I heard one of the speed skaters said that so what happens in speed skating, there was actually 3 starts in this one race, and they kept falling. Like all of them kept falling at the start, and that's got to weigh on your, and she said one of the things she had to do when that would happen is say the serenity prayer. And I thought, okay, it's just so interesting how something comes to you, and I'm like, well, I haven't like thought of the serenity prayer for a while, but this seems like a good time to be reminding ourselves of the serenity prayer, right? So let me just make sure I have it right here. So God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, which is exactly what we've been talking about. This little series is about this prayer. It really is accepting the things we cannot change, and maybe to stop focusing on those things, because that is not good energy, right? The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So us just sitting and watching, and so many things are coming out right now. It's just incredible. It's incredible. But we have to be careful. I think we really have to be careful that this vibrational thing. If we are indeed, because I don't know for sure, but the Lead Team Collective has been talking for a while about the 3D to 5D split, right? And telling us, because we've been exploring this in conversations, if you go back to the playlist, I'll pop up here at the end, Ask the Spirit Guides, where we do a whole bunch of different sessions answering a bunch of questions. And we've done a couple on 3D to 5D. So our understanding and having those conversations with the lead team is that as the split becomes more clear that we're doing it, and it's an energetic split, not like the world's going to split apart, but an energetic split. As it gets more clear, the 3D is going to get more chaotic. Yeah. You feel it? I mean, this is crazy. I mean, it's like more chaotic than I'm 56. I know a lot of people in the community are about my age or older even. Have you ever seen it like this? And I know everybody's always like, I've never seen it like this. And then, I don't know. I mean, I think it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. But here's my theory. And I don't even know if I said this yesterday, but I'm going to say it again, even if I did. This is my theory. I think because we talked yesterday about being at the end of the 250,000 year end of divine masculine being out of balance with divine feminine. So now the next 250,000 years is the rise of divine feminine. I think I might have said this yesterday. I don't know if I was thinking it or if I actually talked about it. I suspect that about 50 years ago, with Reagan, okay, things were pretty calm. Like if you look at movies in the 50s, the Happy Days, and I mean, yeah, there were problems for sure, civil rights, women not having equal, even though, I mean, none of that stuff's really even worked itself out yet, right? Because of the divine masculine not balanced with the divine feminine, really hard to work it out. So I suspect like 50 years ago with Reagan, or whenever he was, 30 years ago or whatever it was, that the divine masculine, in terms of like that really authoritarian, hierarchical, power-driven, money-driven, all that, those characteristics of the masculinity, okay? Not that masculinity is all bad, right? It's not. But those things, because the energy was saying, and without them really knowing it, the energy is saying, you're about to lose this. You got about 50 years left. We'll just say 50. I don't know if it was 50. You got about 50 years left. Actually, it wasn't, because I was born 56 years ago. So, yeah, probably 35, 40. Yeah, whatever. It probably started about that time. Probably started in the 60s is my guess. So you're about to lose this. So we got to take control of this situation. So hence the Project 2025, not that they labeled it that then, starts becoming a thing. And it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows. And they start implementing it and implementing and implementing. They've been implementing it for a while. All right. Which is the freaky part to me. And now looking back, some things make sense. I've mentioned this in a previous video. When Scott Walker in Wisconsin, he was the governor at the time, Republican governor. When he stripped so much money out of public education, and there were huge protests going on for months and months and months. And people lost their pensions and they lost it was crazy. I don't know if it was happening anywhere else, but it was so heavy here in Wisconsin. And I was like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I never figured it out. And now I'm like, oh. I think, and it probably happened in other states, I'm not sure. I just think that, why would you do that? Countries that, you wouldn't do that. You deteriorate the food, you do all of these things that are not helpful. Everything, Reagan's the one who put in trickle-down economics, which gave all them, okay, that was all by design. And I'm like, those little mother effers, But we have to remember, it's just freaky, especially for all of us who are, anyone who was born in the 60s, to think that your entire lifetime has been a slow-moving manipulation of the divine masculine inequity, like the imbalance of divine masculine, right? Coming to an end. It's kind of freaky, and how they responded to it. And I don't even think, again, I said yesterday, it'll be interesting to see what pieces I can put together, or what anybody puts together, about the role that the Democrats have played. And actually, I saw not a very nice comment about Bernie yesterday. And it kind of made sense to me. So let's just be careful, people. At this point, again, I said it yesterday, I'm not falling for it. I don't know what we're going to do come election time. I don't know if we're going to have a choice. But I don't know. So, because I think they all played a role. They all played a role in where we are today, obviously, Okay, so serenity prayer. So just remember the serenity prayer. So the system that allowed this, okay, I just want to talk through that a little bit to see if it's helpful at all. It's helpful for me. Again, take a wider scope. Widen your scope is what the lead team told us. So this is, and we all know this, you probably are going to go, yeah, I get that, right? But I want to have this conversation just to frame it this way, to help it sink in for me, and hopefully to sink in for you, so that we can get out of just these being bombarded because of what it's doing to our energy. So that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing, is the energy because the 3D to 5D split, right? So they're at this end of this 50-year cycle or whatever of freaking out, and now they're really freaking out because they know it's coming to an end. They know, but they don't know. We know, but they don't know, It's coming to an end. And what we don't want to do is get so sucked in, which is what they want. Okay. The lower vibration needs us to stay sucked in so that the divine feminine has a harder time rising. I'm making this stuff up because this is how I see it now. But I don't know if that's true. But it's they're going to, the lower energy and the imbalance, the masculine energy is like, yeah, we're not giving this up. We're not giving it up, and it's worldwide. This is humanity. So we've just got instigators and different players, but clearly this whole thing is worldwide, right? So the whole reason for me to have these conversations has everything to do with our energy. So like yesterday, we were talking about the survivors, because if I'm going to put my energy into anything right now, it's going to be towards survivors of SA and trafficking. It's like, well, I need to funnel my energy somewhere. Well, I don't want to funnel it to being angry. I want to funnel it to something productive, right? So that was the whole point of that conversation, because that will keep your energy at a place where you want, if you are interested in going to the 5D, to the 4D and then a 5D, because if you just sit in anger, right, you're going to be stuck in the 3D. That's what they want. But so now I'm starting to see clearly, it's like, okay, but I have to see what's going on. So we do have to see what's going on first to know where we want to funnel our energy. But then you have to very quickly make a decision, I think, because if you stay in anger for too long, we got to have some time. We've got to have some time to be angry about this, right? And then to process. And then we've got to shift. Well, I'm ready to shift already. Because I'm like, oh my God, I've never been so, and I still am, like, so unbelievably, I don't even have the words for it. And I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so just know that some of the stuff we talk about may sound like kind of common sense, but I want to just bring it and throw it out there to help our energy shift from this unbelievable horror show, like real life horror show that we're watching, in the 3D. Just keep in mind that is in the 3D. You don't have to sit in the 3D. It's better for us to sit in the 4D and watch it. But it depends on how sensitive you are. And you don't want to get desensitized, right? Because that's what they want us to do. I can see it so clearly now, how they've been desensitizing us for 50 years, a slow progress, using TV, using movies, gun control, starting the whole in schools. Never happened. And then all of a sudden it just starts happening. And then right? The food, all of it. It's all a mechanism for control. Allegedly. And I'm not going to say for entertainment purposes only, because that's ridiculous. There's nothing entertaining about this. Allegedly. But we want to widen our scope. Let's keep our scope wider. All right. That doesn't, again, I'm going to just keep reiterating, when you're ready, stay in the anger as long as you need to. Just really be careful about how you might not get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can feel myself sometimes if I get because I can't look away. I have to keep looking because I'm like, this is unbelievable. I can literally feel my brain shifting, like in not a good way. That has happened to me. It happened to me once last year, and it happened to me again this week, because of how it's a trauma response. My brain is having a trauma response because everything that I thought was true in the world is shifting. And if you do that all at once, you don't want to send your brain out somewhere where it can't come back. All right. I have no idea what I'm talking about. When it comes to that, obviously not a doctor. But something that I've never experienced before because of the amount of stress that I allowed myself to get to watching the details of the authoritarian takeover and watching this slowly come, right? And then to this thing. And now there's this whole geopolitical thing going on. And now just wait, the markets, that whole thing of like, I mean, I will be a little surprised if, well, Trump's going to do whatever he can to try to prop it up as long as he can, is my guess. But he may not be able to, right? And I find it very hard to believe that that whole like it's going to 100,000 is not some kind of code word to the elites. I see now I'm like seeing things so differently. Maybe a little paranoia, but not even. I'm just looking. I'm like, is that a code word to the elites about something? And to sucker in the retail investors to get more of their money until it tanks. So I am very, very concerned about the young men in this country. And in fact, I was going to say this the other day, and I realized I never followed through on the topic. This was yesterday. I was listening to somebody on YouTube, and she said, "Do you guys notice, like all of a sudden on YouTube now? We have new owners. I'm sorry, on TikTok. There's new owners on TikTok, and I understand he's from Israel. He's a billionaire from Israel. He might be American. I'm not sure." But she said, have you guys noticed that every ad that pops up is this gambling stuff? I'm like this, and they're taking out leverage, and I mean the gambling. That how that I mean it's gambling. I mean it's an addiction, right? It's an addiction because it alters your brain. I am very concerned about, and for some reason, I don't know if it's because I've been hearing people talk about young men, but I don't know how many young women, and I mean young, like 20s, 30s, where they're capturing, I don't know how much people in their 40s and 50s right now are on TikTok and doing the gambling thing as much as maybe those in their 20s and 30s. I don't know. I really don't know. I just have a sense of that. I don't know if it's because I've heard people talking about it and taking out the leverage and everything. Unbelievable. All by design. Anyway, so this girl, the woman I listened to she was talking about, have you guys noticed, like in the last couple of days, how every ad is about this gambling, sports gambling. What is going on, right, with that? So I'm very concerned about them. I think they're going to start their young lives having to file bankruptcy or something. So I don't know. We're just going to have a lot of things to talk about. While we sit, let's just say we need to sit in the 4D as best as possible. Because we're not at the 5D. Well, some of you probably are, which is amazing. But sit at the 4D. I don't even think it's funny anymore to say, get your popcorn out. It was funny when we were talking about how we wanted to prove on the left that we were the right ones. And I'm sure people on the right said the same thing. Get your popcorn out. That was kind of funny then. It's not funny anymore. It's not funny. Like, get your popcorn out and watch this crap go down and discover, as we widen our scope, discover what the hell's been going on. Not funny. No, not even for a minute. So I can't really use that whole thing anymore. But we can sit, in the 4D and observe. So we observe enough. And Vina, who I listen to, you guys know I love Vina. We can observe enough, but don't absorb. She says that all the time. So, but the minute you start absorbing, which I've been majorly absorbing, especially if it starts affecting your brain, majorly absorbing too much. I mean, it's such an addiction. I can't stop watching. I have to know what's going on. Because I don't know what's going on. And when I don't know what's going on, then I need more information. That's just how it is. But for the last year, it happened to me twice, and it's just too much. Okay, so the system that allowed this, besides my theory of over the last 50 years, kind of how this is built, and it's culminated in the Project 2025. So this is not about a few bad people. It is about a structure that made harm possible and invisible for many different reasons. One of them being the blackmail, right? It probably started innocently enough. Let's do this, and then let's do that, and let's do this, and the psych op stuff, and the false flags, and it just builds. And they understand what mind control is. So why not mind control the entire population? I mean, the fact that the U.S. brought the Nazis over to learn about mind control, they literally gave them out for what they did so that we could learn about mind control. I mean, we really need the rise of divine feminine. Come on. I mean, I could see us all as spirits up, in the other realm or wherever, and just being like, well, let's live for 250,000 years down on Earth with an imbalance between masculine and feminine and see how it goes. Let's do it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We did this, hello. What the hell? What the hell? You guys, I watched TikTok for like 30 minutes of my entire life, and I've brought this, and there was this, it was probably like 5 or 6 years ago when I first started, and then I was like, I can't sit on this and watch this. I will sit for hours. I just can't do it. So I never paid attention to TikTok. But the one I did pay attention to is some kid was going, what the hell? And then everybody started using that and imitating it. It was, oh my God, it's so funny. You guys know what I'm talking about? What the hell? So yeah, what the hell? I tell ya. Okay, so we can care deeply about survivors. Absolutely need to do that. That's what we talked about yesterday. And still ask the larger questions. So we need to find that balance, though, with the survivors first, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is that's where the focus needs to go first. But we can still ask the larger questions. All right. If you can't do both, then put your focus on the survivors one way or another. Put your energy on the survivors. Okay. Because it's just a suggestion. I don't want to tell you what to do, but that is what I think would be the healthiest, and from a spiritual perspective. So how did this keep happening for so long is what we have to grapple with, right? I kind of understand it now, though. When I frame it with the astrology and the rise and fall, I don't know if it was the fall of divine masculine, but it's the rise of divine feminine. So when I look at it at that perspective, it helps me understand that and how it's been happening for so long. Yeah, 50 years. No, not that long. Not that long. So astrologically, we are in a long exposure and restructuring cycle. We talked about this yesterday. I think it was Aquarius and Taurus or something like that. I don't remember the details. I saw your message. Thank you. I saw your comment, looked it up and said it's a 20-year cycle. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We are in a 20-year cycle, a long exposure and restructuring cycle. So the exposure is what's coming now. I don't know how long it's going to last. It's probably going to last a while, which is why we have to have these conversations because we also have to live our lives during this time and hopefully in a space of joy. And we've got to get our energy to the 4D unless you want to just live. You want to continue living in the 3D. That's totally fine. That's an option. It's not a place I want to be, though. So Pluto has moved. Was it Pluto? I think it was Pluto has moved into Aquarius. Okay, this marks the breakdown. Oh, this is interesting. We didn't talk about this yesterday. This marks the breakdown of elite controlled systems. Yeah, but they're panicking. They're panicking. And Pluto in Aquarius marks the breakdown of hidden power networks. It's really good. Really good. This is not a short news cycle, though. This is why we have to be really careful. That's why we have to be very careful. It is a multi-generation shift in how power works, okay? So deep breath, everyone, and find some joy in your life every day, because this ain't going to be fixed right away as much as we want it to be. Might be fixed in one area of the world and not in others, and we just have to slowly, okay? So the pattern over the last however long this has been building, again, it might be thousands of years. It's just activated because we're at the end of it, right? So the pattern has been closed networks, protection through wealth. I mean, you get away with anything if you're wealthy, right? You just pay somebody off. People will take money for anything. Not all of us, but a lot of people will. And it's crazy to me. It's like, how much more money does the Kardashians need? I mean, seriously. I read some stuff about them yesterday. I'm not too happy I read it about. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let it come out officially. I don't know. I'm not watching their show anymore, though, until I see that it's not going to come out. Okay. Power without accountability, right? And it's even worse. Isn't it so fascinating why we're like, I mean, seriously, my mind has been boggled why the Supreme Court would do this with the executive branch. My mind has just been boggled about that over the last couple of years. Like, I hate it when I cannot figure something out. So that, and then Trump like dismantling anything like regulations, like anything that's like checks and balances. And then did you guys, when Bondi had that huge debacle the other day with the survivors behind her, the question was, how many people are currently in your cyber security protection division? She fired all of them. 0. 0. You cannot tell me these guys are not, I mean, they are panicking so bad that it's not even, there's no hidden network anymore. There's 0. And all of a sudden, Bitcoin now is, I mean, now Bitcoin does have its cycles, but now all of a sudden and Trump gets to make his billions of dollars selling to his people who supported him, by the way. And now they've lost all that money, whatever they supported, and he's got it all. And there's no cyber security. No, sorry, it wasn't cyber. It was crypto. It was crypto. Okay. Okay, there are parts of this that we could get our popcorn out because it's so unbelievable. It's so unbelievable. And again, could anybody understand why the Supreme Court would do that, right? I mean, my mind, this is why yesterday I called this the Great Awakening. Now, this morning, to be honest, I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, this isn't the Great Awakening. I mean, it is. But it's also the Great Taking. And what I felt very strongly about that was energy. This is the Great Taking of energy. So, and I don't mean energy, obviously, like electricity and stuff. I mean our energy. So that's why, like, I feel even more different today than I did yesterday. Because yesterday I was like, this is the Great Awakening. Like, there's no doubt about it. But at the same time, I'm wondering, like, somehow I got that message today, which is why I had to I had to honor that message of this being the Great Taking of energy. Okay? Because the 3D, the lower vibration wants the energy because you can't stay lower vibration. You can't keep moving forward without higher vibration. You can't keep making, getting more and more and more and more and more without getting something from people, right? So what do they have left? What's the only thing they have left really is your energy, right? And so your vibration. And so the lower vibration, and some people would prefer to use that as devil, the evil, Satan. I don't at all prefer to use that because when I use that, it lowers my vibration. I am not going to believe in something that makes me afraid. And I think, please correct me if I'm wrong, this is just a gut feeling I have, because this is where the world's gonna literally people's their minds are gonna blow up. If what I'm seeing when I widen my scope is correct. Because it occurred to me the other day, because now that I just made a few connections of all this stuff going on, I'm like, now I start to see things differently. Not that it's right. I'm just starting to like, okay, what does that mean now? And what does that mean? And what does this mean? So I was watching some young gentleman on YouTube, really good, apparently he does near-death experiences. He has near-death experience stories. And the one story he was telling was about some guy who had a near-death experience, and the near-death experience had to do with God making judgments of whether you were going to go to hell or you were going to, go into the pearly gates. And a demon came right away and was trying to grab it. I'm like, oh my God. And maybe that's what he believes is going to happen, which may be possible. That may be possible. Like what you believe is going to happen may be your experience when you first transition. So I don't want to believe that. I'm like, and the thing is that to me, that story alone, if that doesn't sound like mind control to you, I don't know what does. To keep you in fear, to keep you in the Christians are the ones who believe that. And I'm really afraid that if I'm correct, that everything they've been taught is not what they think it is, that when they uncover that, because that's their spirituality, right? That is what's going to blow our society. I don't know. I can't help. I don't know, but I can't help but feel that there's something there with this structure. And when I heard that, I just thought, are you kidding me right now? Because the thing is when I heard that, I immediately went into fear. Like, oh my God, what if that really is true? I literally had that like for 5 seconds, and I had to come back to the conversations we've had here. And I'm like, nope. I literally had to go back to my journal, and I'm like, I'm going to believe in what the lead team's been telling us, what the spiritual leaders and the mediums and everybody else who's been having the same kind of conversations we've been having. Not religious conversations, but spiritual conversations. It freaked me out. Like I heard that, and I was so triggered by it. And I'm like, why do you want to believe that? But I don't know. Is that whole thing brainwashing? Has that been how much of Jesus's story? Because I don't doubt Jesus exists. I don't doubt Mother Mary exists. I don't doubt Mary Magdalene exists, any of that. But how much of their stories has been manipulated, which I learned early on in my younger years? And how much do Christians believe that? How much do Christians understand that? And is it true? What do I know? I sure as hell, so that's why it's easier for me to think of a lower vibration and a higher vibration. Because it doesn't feel so, just like it feels the same to me as living in a world that's imbalanced with the masculine, divine masculine and the divine feminine. An imbalance. It feels the same to me, right? But when you start using Satan and, all these things, like, I don't feel fear when I'm talking about the imbalance between masculine and feminine, and you know what I mean? So I'm concerned about that population too. I mean, am I concerned? I mean, I am. Like, I think we are, again, just at the beginning of this. And we here in this community have got to take care of ourselves in the very, very, very best way we can. Because if we were put here as light workers to do this, to support this process of shifting, we can't get sucked in so much that our brain completely changes and we can't get out of it, right? So we're going to have to keep talking about this. We're just going to have to. Okay. So the pattern has also been, okay, let me just go through these real quick. Closed networks, protection through wealth, power without accountability. I went off on that crypto thing. Reputation shielding. Yeah. They've all shielded. And it's mind blowing, right? Because none of our reputations get shielded. Because we don't have a lot of money. We don't have money to pay people to shield our reputations. Silence enforced by fear. The pattern belongs to a long dominance-based power model. It reflects the shadow side. This is cool. It reflects the shadow side of the divine masculine. Think about that. That's kind of cool. And the question is, how well did we heal the shadow side of the divine masculine? Clearly not that well. But, there's been an imbalance, and when a small group of people come together and know how to use psychology to, that's pretty challenging. Strategy without empathy. I mean, right? Strategy without empathy. Authority without relationship, which is why they can do the things they can do that we look at and think it's satanic, or we think it's just the most horrifying thing, because they feel authority without relationship, without empathy. And it's taught to them. That's the hard part, is that the people who do it now were taught they were taught to do this. I mean, no baby is born. I mean, it might be part of their life plan, but no baby is born acting like Trump, He wasn't born that way. He was severely abused. So, but he was learned strategy without empathy. You can't have empathy for him to survive what he had to survive, whatever it was when he was younger. Authority without relationship, control without care. That's why they can do what they're doing to children. There's, for us, because we do have empathy, we do value relationships, we do value care. That's why it's so, it's never even, you almost can't even believe it. That's why when people say, well, I've been trying to tell you, and you're like, yeah, but it's, it sounded like, a movie plot, because you don't believe anybody could be that, especially a whole system, right? So don't blame yourself if you didn't see this. I saw bits and pieces of it, like I said, with the Scott Walker education, but we're all living our lives doing things. We're all trying to survive in the system, right? That's been slowly eating away at our survival. So, we have to give ourselves a lot of grace for that. So the pattern is now, all of this whole pattern is now being exposed. So, okay, the vertical hierarchy, there's a vertical hierarchy, right? So that really is the problem, obviously, and they've built it this way. This was all by design, right? You have the small group at the top. Most people live under the decisions of this group. And this is very 3D kind of way of living, and very masculine. rules apply downward, not upward. I mean, we literally do not live in a democracy. We can fool ourselves that we do in the US. Yeah. There's no, it's not a democracy. I mean, people will say it's a republic. Okay, I get that. But we think we have Democrat, like we really, we think we do, but we're living within this mind controlled, which I never understood before. I guess it's the Matrix, I'm starting to see it more. Okay. Hierarchy, conquest, ownership, and command have been rewarded. I mean, look at how our country was started. I mean, slavery, even though it seems horrific to us that the United States started on the backs, well, we weren't the United States when the indigenous people lived here. So it started on the backs when white people came here. It started on the backs of slaves. So, but that slavery was not a new thing. I mean, it had been going on for a very long time. And again, divine masculine, the imbalance has been 250,000 years. So this little snippet of time is so tiny, which is incredible. I mean, how are we here at this time doing this? I mean, again, I think we've all been here probably many times, but I mean, it's just incredible. I do hope I get to see this as much as it's painful. I do hope I get to see it out. And I know people in your 70s and your 80s, I'm sure you feel the same way. You're like, well, how am I supposed to see this out, if they don't get the CRISPR technology and all that kind of stuff? And maybe you don't want to. Sometimes because of how much awesome conversations we have about what we're like, what this all means. Like, I have no fear of death. Like, I'm like, all right, well, I don't appreciate how I might die, but, and I'm looking forward to that process. But I'm like, okay, I mean, I want it to end? No, I kind of want to see how this unfolds, even though I think we'll be able to see it wherever we are. But okay, so I think we want to be careful that we're not only focusing on punishment, right? Because removing Trump from the top is not going to fix the whole thing. Now we see that, right? It's not going to fix it. It's so much bigger than him. But I mean, it might help the authoritarian thing, but I think the authoritarian thing is all a part of this. It's all a part of it. The structure simply replaces, so if we were to just punish, it just simply replaces the person. We need to look at the structure. So widen your scope, you guys. Start widening your scope. Look at the pieces and do it slowly so your brain can adapt. Okay? All right. So the missing voice in system reform. There could be missing voices, so we have to watch that. I know we're nowhere near even thinking about system reform, but survivors must be included. Absolutely. First, when it becomes this part of the system. All right. So, which is why I'm very, very motivated. I am next week when I'm going on a cruise in a couple weeks, but I'm very motivated to get involved with something around survivors or child trafficking just for a little while. I just want to get in, do some volunteer work if they need somebody, do what I can to be of assistance, and learn more. Just put some energy so that I feel like I can funnel my energy somewhere helpful. So trauma professionals will have to be included, community voices, feminine leadership, centers lived experience. Okay, we definitely need the center feminine leadership, values, emotional and rational knowledge, not only legal and institutional authority. Change the laws. That's very masculine, right? I've been hearing, does anybody listen to Jennifer Lisa Vest? She's fun to listen to. But she talks often about this council, that's what her guides tell her is the future looks like. That rather than specifically the United States, but if this works, I would think it would be everywhere, but that it would be run by a council. So let's just say, like right now in the middle of the term, F45 leaves. And that what she sees, and actually other psychics in her group see, the people she watches, is there would be like a council. And I love that so much. Isn't that feminine? I just love that so much. I'm like a circle, right? A council. I just love that so much. So I think we can look to that and hope for that, because that's what Jennifer's seeing and many of the other psychics that she's been talking about. So anger, we got to be really careful with the anger. And again, take the time. Take the time. You got to go through the grieving process. We all are, and we're all going to come in and out of it, right? So anger is definitely showing us that something is wrong, but anger will not design the something better, right? And anger is not obviously going to keep your vibration up, right? So the feminine principles, thank God we're in the rise of the divine feminine, although we wouldn't be probably to this degree of stuff if we weren't. But the feminine principles would be like listening, collaboration, shared responsibility, long-term care of everybody and the environment and our structures, looking long-term. How is this going to affect generations 10 times from now? That is very feminine principle. So I love those concepts. The masculine principle builds the structure, but we need the feminine principles to like design it, be the designers of it. And I don't mean man and woman, I just mean feminine energy, right? So feminine sets the values, masculine builds the structure. Okay, the real shift underway is more people are questioning authority, 100%. Secrecy is being challenged. Institutional narratives are being tested. Pluto in Aquarius, note there's a reason for these things happening. Pluto in Aquarius is exposing financial power structures, information control, elite protection systems. So irritating, for lack of a better term, institutional secrecy. So whistleblowers, leaks, document releases are increasing during this cycle. We should expect those to increase based on Pluto and Aquarius doing the exposures. Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. It's better to me. It's weird because a couple nights ago, I just started feeling excited about it. Like, maybe because I just knew all my life in some weird way or some unconscious way that something just wasn't quite right. Just not quite right. But I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know that I could do anything about it. So, but because this is a global pattern, right? So this is a thing that's been going on for so long. So of course we've been living within it. But the fact that now whistleblowers and leaks and documents, it's exciting. Right? It's exciting to see that humanity is going to be taken care of. Mother Earth is going to be taken care of in the long run. And the astrology is saying, yes, 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 go, 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 do this. This is what we're given the opportunity to do. This is the energy that the astrology is bringing forth. So what rebuilding can actually look like: trauma-informed investigations, again, especially around this particular sex trafficking, survival-led review and advisory boards, strong whistleblower protection, independent oversight structures, and so on. Okay? So, the question you can ask yourself today, if this helps you with your energy and your vibration: where can I support ethical reform instead of only reacting to outrage? All right. So just think of that question. Where can I support ethical reform in any area so again, going to protests and stuff is fine, writing letters, but those are like one-offs, right? But where can you support ethical reform is maybe a way to start thinking now. Okay. Okay, well, that's what I got for today. I hope that was helpful. Tomorrow, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? I've got this kind of broken down into 3 parts. I don't know. I have to ask Mabel to pull it up for me because it's like way down at the bottom. Okay. So hopefully you'll join me tomorrow night. And if you missed the one from yesterday, please go, you can click right here at the end of this video and have a listen, okay? All right. So we're going to do our clearing. I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light. Put a little chapstick on first. And ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, our community, the lead team collective, so it is all of the highest and purest light. Amen. Hey, lead team. Haven't talked to them today. Hope you're doing well. Yes. Okay, so we are hoping to have a clearing done today. I'll read it to you. And then are you open to doing that clearing for us today? Yes, thank you. Okay, so as always, or unless you're new here, what we'll do is it usually takes like 3 to 5 minutes, and just depending on how much clearing needs to be done. And so when I say this, you can either cut, clear, and cancel part of it if you're not comfortable with it, or you can add things to be cleared, okay? So lead team, please help dismantle harmful power structures that protect abuse and silence truth. Clear fear from institutions, community, and leadership, starting with us. Clear that fear so that we can send out that energy for institutions, communities, and leaderships to clear their fear. Please help us support the rebalancing of divine masculine and divine feminine within our systems. And please help clear us so that guide us towards construction reform that serves the well-being of all. And basically I was trying to say, clear us from anything that would get in the way of any of that. Okay. Just gently, just gentle, one day at a time clearing. Okay. All right. So lead team, if we could go ahead. And so you can just sit back and I will let you know. I'm getting a little warm. I will let you know when the clearing is done. Okay. All right, let's get started. One, two, three. Is there another layer? There is not. Okay. All right, lead team, can you give us one big, massive hug, please? Send all your energy out to us, and we'll just hold that for a minute. You guys, look how they go open. They might start pulsing too, which is kind of cool if they do that sometimes when they feel we need it, I think. All right, let's hold this for a minute then. Okay, no pulsing today. A little tiny, tiny bit. Tiny, tiny bit. All right, you guys. I hope this is helpful. I appreciate you being here so much because it is so helpful for me personally to be able to process this together and talk through this stuff together. So, oops, sorry, I'm bopping you around. So yeah, thank you so, so much. I really appreciate it. And you know, as always, if you're not subscribed, hit the thumbs up. That would be amazing too. So, and if you have a little hype button on your phone, if you want to hype this video, we'd be very appreciative as well. So, all right, take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.